Welcome to Maze Arcana and the Inkwell Society. Thank you for joining us on your Wednesday evening. Or I guess Thursday morning for some of you very lucky European people. For those of you who are new to the stream, this is where me and my friends get together and play a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons in the Noir. We are playing specifically in Eberron and specifically 5th edition. And now for some announcements.
Yes. We have a lot of announcements this week, so buckle up. All right, first, a new episode of Life Action Roleplay, a LARP and Roleplay podcast, came out today on iTunes and Podbean. On this episode, Kai, Sin, and Ryan Omega talk about ways to roleplay a bard. Don't miss the Stream of Many Eyes, a 3-day D&D event starting June 1st in LA. Follow the hashtag SomeDND, S-O-M-E, D&D. And for more tickets and info, go to dnd.wizards.com/some, S-O-M-E. Maze Plays is on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/MazeArcana. Maze Magic News is on Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/MazeArcana. Catch up on Inkwell Society on iTunes. Episodes 1 through 4 are already up, so if you want to catch up, that's a good way to do it. Sirens of the Realms, an all-girl bard band. I can never say that like all together, and I keep wanting to say boy band, and I'm like, nope, that's not it. An all-girl bard band on tour through Eberron, DM'd by Satine, airs Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific on twitch.tv/DND, followed by Dungeon Queens. Aww. It's a catchy song. A hilariously adult-themed homebrew DM'd by Signeutron. It's on twitch.tv/Dungeon Queens with a Z. Stay tuned for more info on the upcoming season finale, which will be exciting. Yeah, there's still time to grab a D&D &T to support Lambert House, a community center for LGBTQ youth in the greater Seattle, Washington area. They're available until May 22nd. Get yours or donate by going to custominc.com/fundraising/Lambert House.
Got one?
Yeah. You got yours? Mm-hmm. Awesome. B. Dave hosted Climbers XL for International Tabletop Day along with our friend Jason Charles Miller, which is available now on Geek and Sundry's YouTube channel. Let's see. Hashtag No Stone Unturned is running right now. Want to know what the heck I'm talking about? Visit the Twitter account at Immortal Fortress with a 4, Immortal Fortress, to find out more. And we've got another very important announcement.
We do. There's only 5 of you today, which means I killed one of them.
And she was delicious.
She was very delicious.
That gives you some insight into Laucian's character. And also into ours, because I just lied to you. She is the incredible, immutable Satine Phoenix. And B-Dave sat on her.
Stunt fan.
No, for those of you, I'm sure everybody in the chat knows, Satine Phoenix has become the new community face, resource manager person of the Dungeons and the Dragons.
You may have heard of them.
Both dungeons as well as dragons.
All of them. The whole hookery. So, we set her up on purpose not to be here, but that doesn't mean her story doesn't continue to evolve.
Congratulations.
It's kind of huge.
And I think she might actually be hanging out in the chat too, so at least she'll know what's happened.
She threatened to hang out in the chat.
She threatened to hang out?
She threatened to hang out in the chat.
That's not a threat.
You know where she really is? She's right here. She's in all of us. She's with us here. Yeah.
Okay, look. That's not really gonna buy Rose any brownie or Hermatio any brownie points for us. she's like, aw, B-Dave. Ma, Hermatio.
I hate this place.
It's like
This place is so hot.
you know, it's like she's here. It's weird. If I close my eyes, I can hear her voice.
I
Yeah.
hate this place.
Yes.
But it's a really nice restaurant, as Felix pointed out.
It is really nice restaurant.
But I hate this place. I hate being outside.
I do have one tiny addendum.
Dend it up.
Next Tuesday, Ask Your Black Geek Friend, we are doing our Women in Gaming special. So next Tuesday at 9 on Geek and Sundry and join Team Alpha. Which, are you broadcasting Dungeon Queens next time?
No.
Next Tuesday? Ah, see? So you don't have to choose. I was going to say watch his show and VOD mine, but that's cool. You can now watch my show live after Sirens.
Who's your special guest?
I have a long list. I have
did.
Anjali Bhamani from Overwatch. I have UFC fighters Angela Hill and Jessica Penne. I have our own Havana from Geek and Sundry. I have Mandy Romaine, who also is a journalist and streamer. I have Markia McCarty is joining me as my special co-host. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, and I deeply apologize. But you know what? Tune in Tuesday, and you can find out. Yeah, and we're gonna do it big, as we do, Tuesday at 9. Yeah.
And she's Semestra, right?
Yes, the voice of Semestra.
The dragon skin for her is like my favorite skin.
Well,
yeah, that's a good one. Or is it a demon skin? But I think it's dragon skin. Yeah.
Full disclosure, I actually don't play Overwatch, and I've met half the cast, and when I do, I'm like, I hear you kids are, you're on a game that everybody's on about, but yeah, that's true.
Only half? Have you not been hanging out at Geek and Sundry?
Well, what I do though is when I meet the voice actors, I have friends and I know who they all main, and so I get the voice actors to record messages for my friends as the characters, and I just send it to them. That's a very easy way to spread joy into the universe. Yeah.
You said doo-doo.
He did. And I flexed, so I'm gonna have to get each one of them to record one word off of a thing. All right. So, I feel like there was one more thing that Gen Con! And Origins. Satine and I, at least, will be at Origins. And you can come hang out with us there. We'll be doing some stuff, some things, and some other stuff. Also, there's this something that Nora was alluding to with stones turning. And there's this thing called Gen Con. And we have some panels there. Half of which are already sold out.
Wow.
Yeah.
The top half.
The top half.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a sandwich at the moment.
The bottom half's the better half anyway.
Well, so with that, I do believe there are still a few seats left in our panel about inclusivity in gaming and about the technical aspects of live streaming. So for those of you that don't know, Satine and I do almost all of the background work from the floor up, all the cameras and everything like that. We do have people here now who help produce and run things for us when we're on camera, but we used to do it where we had to get up in the middle of a game and go adjust things.
A lot.
A lot.
Because
learning. But if you wanted to learn anything about that or maybe avoid some of the pitfalls that we made because learning, you can come and laugh at our mistakes. It's we're okay with that. We don't have a lot of pride and ego and stuff. We're just here, real, honest, and intro.
The things you guys miss.
Yeah.
I was just saying Kai's dressed like a hooker today. That's the thing you missed. What you're missing is getting to see that I'm telling the truth. Yes.
He's not.
No.
He's not.
I'm
And if
pretty
he
stylish.
is,
Disparagement.
I don't know why. We're going to go ahead and get started with playing some Dungeons and Dragons here. So to recap, our intrepid Zeros found their way into a little bit more of a pickle than the library heist that they just recently completed. And upon receiving their reward, they became witness to another crime. One that has left several of them without employment. As the proprietor of the Old Dominion, Latch, the Warforged, has ceased to function from the weight of a very heavy sign falling on him. There were some other events that unfolded around that led them to believe that foul play may be an airship. Not a foot. You get it? Good, I just want to make sure everybody was on the page. And they found several things, either on Latch's person, so convenient that you work in a morgue, or in the alleyway, so convenient that you were there, or in the office, so convenient that Rose is a snoop. And you then proceeded to have drinks, play cards, not necessarily with each other, win money, spend money, not necessarily with each other, and ransack each other's rooms.
I prefer visit each other's apartments.
Not necessarily with each other, exactly.
And work.
Aggressively visit.
And some work. And then we ended up spending a little bit of time at the end stewing in Felix's misery over the state of his now non-existent door. Everybody went to sleep, and we woke up in the morning. Well, I should say Hamatio woke up in the morning to find the dishes done. What? And no Rose in sight. As if she was happy to get up and not necessarily hate the place. Or maybe just hated dishes more. We know, you and me, not them, earmuffs. We know that she was spending some time with a dusky-skinned, dark-haired gentleman with sharp, pointy ears and a sullen, melodic prose down in the park across from the Wicket Lawn. And I would be remiss if I did not mention the robed figure who seemed to be ailing from a injury that Grizz was a near participant in, whom they brought back to the Wicket Lawn, and Hamatio made a deal to get this man some medical attention. He is currently upstairs being tended to by a guy. Maybe he knows him, maybe he doesn't, maybe he's just a guy.
But he was a very beautiful man with a nice
They
face.
seem to be a very pretty man. And that's where we're going to pick up as Hamatio buzzes around the apartment building. No Xalen in sight. Because as Felix awakes in the late morning to perhaps the 10th or 11th bell. He wasn't counting because he was asleep. The light and the heat from that light starts to waft across, stretching really, across your bed, making your ribbons of sheets now, and remaining pillow without a case and without about half of its down feathers, leaving that to start to heat and stick to you as you wake up with a start, jarred by some vision that seems to have swirled away from you now, as dreams often do, yet leaving you with a very ominous feeling of being watched. After catching your breath, scanning about the room, you notice you are being watched. As Xalen stands in the doorway.
Oh, hi, Felix. I hope you slept well.
Well, that's killing. Is my door still gone?
Yes.
Well, I thought that, seeing as how the door was gone, I would stand in the doorway for you. While you slept, I didn't take anything.
That's awfully. I'm too tired for this. I'm gonna kind of try and cover myself with my blankets as I stand up and find something to throw on. All right. Xalen, would you mind turning around for just a moment?
Why?
I need to change.
I'm sorry, why?
Well, I would rather you don't see me change.
Oh. Okay.
Just for a moment. I just need to put on some clothes.
Sure.
Great, thanks.
As you
Can I
spin
try?
around and he continues to robe, do you stay spun around?
Oh no, I turn around.
So as you get your drawers up and you start to pull on one of your cloth shirts, you kind of hop into a boot and peer up to see that she is now turned back around staring at you again.
Felix, your face is red.
Yes.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Do you know anything about fixing doors? I feel like I need to get
I knew
Grizz
how to
fix
take the
this.
nails out, but I don't know, maybe, I don't know if I could fix it. Maybe I could try?
Well, ideally, I need to get my door fixed in some regard before I leave my apartment, because otherwise, someone's just going to take all of my things.
Are you feeling okay?
I'm fine. I just feeling immediately frustrated in my current situation.
Hello?
Oh, is that the landlord?
Hello?
Oh, hi.
As you turn to look down the hallway, you see that your conversation or your investigation of Felix's current state allowed you to be snuck up upon by a large woman of a yellow-tinted complexion and some nifty jowls. And you recognize, I believe, Roz.
Question.
Mark.
Is my crowbar hand still in play?
Do you want it to be?
Yes, but I put it behind my back.
Okay. What are you doing, dear?
I was just checking up on my friend Felix here just to make sure he wasn't feeling so well. Or it looks like he's not feeling so well. But I came here to check up on him.
And your Keisha. Keisha was her name. Roz is obvious. I was like, what? That is not right. But she goes, and he's behind your back.
Oh, he's back there.
She looks over and you're still pulling on a boot. Is everything all right, dear?
Mostly. someone damaged my gesture at the door.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
You don't know who. It would be nice if I didn't have to pay for it out of the building's purse.
No, unfortunately, I don't know who it is. I wish I knew.
Both of you make me deception checks.
Oh no.
20.
Dirty 1.
Wow. Start the spectrum. You guys are both on it. So she's looking at you, and then out of, like, as she's looking past Xalen, kind of like over her shoulder to the left, looking into your apartment with all the swirls and shelving. Oh, okay. And then she turns just enough to see Xalen's crowbar sticking up over her shoulder.
I had an itch.
Felix, dear, I think I found the culprit.
Oh no, it wasn't me.
Truthfully, it wasn't her. When I found the door, there had been some... It had been jammed closed, and Xalen helped me open it.
Jammed closed?
Yes, with nails.
She looks up and she sees that there's still one of the boards that's on it with some nails poking out in a very threatening manner. The frame itself is mostly intact. The area behind, like on the inside, where the locks once were, had torn, splintering the wood, and the one hinge from the top area there had essentially swung and clattered around to the ground, and nobody has taken the initiative to move it quite yet.
Well, you're fired.
Well,
You're sure it wasn't her?
I'm absolutely positive that it was not her that destroyed my door.
If you can put that thing away, it's probably best.
Okay. Oh, you mean away.
Right.
So I do my little presto changeo.
Okay. So I suppose I'll get maintenance up here.
I would appreciate that greatly.
she turns around and starts to make her way down the hall, and she goes,
Why is there blood
Laucian.
outside of Laucian's apartment?
That's not...
she knocks on the door.
Laucian! You're not bringing your homework with you again, are you?
Walk over to the door, creak it open a little bit.
Hi, honey.
Hello.
I just wanted to double check and make sure you weren't bringing your work home with you again.
Oh no.
Why is there a puddle of blood outside of your apartment?
I don't know. I'm assuming somebody bled there.
Yeah. I suppose. You know just how hard it is to clean up blood, especially off of wood.
Mm-hmm.
It would,
That's why I would never leave a mess like that.
Yes, of course. All right. I'll get maintenance and sanitation.
There's some more drops going that way.
Which way?
Towards the stairs.
She scans around, picking up the blood drops leading up the stairs, and you can see that she just kind of... no, that's all right.
I'll have Reggie do it. Thanks. And she heads like she's going towards it, and then just heads down the stairwell instead of up.
Just go.
The floor is open. And quiet.
I mean, I could try to fix your door, but I don't know if I'll be able any help.
No, I don't think that's really going to be a situation. I'm wondering how long maintenance might take to come along. I'm going to have to keep an eye on the door, or someone has to keep an eye on the door until they're there to fix things. So,
I walk up with the tools.
I walk
Hello?
out with the conversations. What's going on?
Oh, she's gonna fix this door.
Oh.
please tell me you're not maintenance.
Oh, I don't think I am.
So, the landlady was asking how the door got destroyed.
How did it happen?
Pillow thief.
Pillow thief.
Yep.
Mm-mm. So you're a pillow thief now?
No. All saving your pillows.
Uh-huh.
Gonna start like gathering things up.
Like what? How?
Well, I don't know. Pick up the hinge that no one bothered to move and start assessing the door and how I can fix it.
Felix,
Okay.
do you know much about construction of Warforged? Or do you know someone who does?
I know... I'm aware of a little bit of it, but I'm not exactly an expert. Why, did you have a question?
Yes. When I was looking at Latch, his faceplate was much softer than it should have been.
Huh.
I'm wondering if it got affected by something?
His face plate, or
His face.
like the front of his face, or the back
The front of his
head?
cranium.
Oh,
Yeah, I saw that too.
It seemed to be odd. It shouldn't have been damaged by that sign if it was normal. So I'm thinking either something softened it, or it wasn't his original face.
would I know if it's possible to kind of change a Warforged's face?
You would know that there's maintenance that can be done on them, especially. You would actually probably know that if a Warforged is damaged or sustains some sort of injury to its to any extremity that is plated, or especially if they suffer some sort of trauma to the head or neck area, it is possible that the metal would need to be replaced around it. And while usually they would put the same metal back in place, they may not necessarily have either had it at hand, or they may not have had, or it may have just been changed for some other reason. Cost could be one.
Well, unless Latch was trying to potentially hide his identity, he did say that he got a head injury in the war.
It was damaged.
Maybe that was
I was thinking maybe they used substandard parts.
some kind of patch job to put him back together and quickly.
Maybe.
That's possible, although he was pretty well off. I'm surprised he didn't fix himself up later.
Oh, that's not cheap, I'm assuming.
No. Neither is running a club.
But do you think he knew of the material that was used, or no?
That I can't tell you.
I would think he would. You would know if they replaced something that wasn't normal.
Well, sure. I don't know if you knew how. I don't know if you knew how much of a hit to the face you can take, and not. That's not something I.
Well, it didn't seem to be adamantite.
Let's be honest here as well. At least based on what we read in that letter.
What letter?
Okay, well we've got more ground. No, you know what letter, don't you?
Which one?
The letter that
The
Rose
one
found.
that was
Oh,
addressed
that
to
one.
Cocoon. Yes, right. So, with that letter, we can see that Latch had a bit of a sentimental soul. He might have been sentimental about that replacement faceplate.
And
I
not
don't
about
know.
his original?
Maybe. I mean, if his original was destroyed and that was the second one he get.
Maybe.
At this point, you've done a thorough search of the entire apartment, Hermatio, and you have checked underneath all of the extra covers and pillows that adorn her little harem, I guess, is kind of the best situation that we can call that. You've checked all of the crevices in the apartment and even gone kind of up and down the stairs, not venturing into the upper echelons, avoiding the blood trail that was left from the other day, but you do not find Rose anywhere, and especially not before you find the rest of them outside of Felix's door.
Just one thing. I check and make sure, is her favorite gown still home?
It is not. Wherever she went, she has it with her.
But only that is the only thing missing, or perhaps she just wanted to wear her nice
Why don't you roll me a d20 for creepy, and we'll see how much you have her thing like all of her clothing cataloged.
What's my plus to creep? Well, we shouldn't have a lot of things. What's my plus to creepiness? I mean, we don't have much, so.
Context D&D.
Yeah.
Let me think about that. I think it's just gonna be flat. I don't think you need a modifier to be creepy.
Then it's an 8.
An 8. You're not fully sure whether or not she has all of the articles of clothing, but you do notice that the fancy slip that she would normally wear under one of her better dresses is missing as well. She has the clothing fit for high society, both in and out.
She's probably just at City Hall and wants to look the part. That's fine.
I don't know that you're telling so.
I'm talking to myself while I'm investigating for any creepiness.
Gotcha.
Doubling down.
I do take the letter because I physically had it, the latch letter, and then when I go up towards them.
Sure.
Actually, before I go towards them, I go over to Paulie's place.
Okay.
And I knock on the door. Actually, at first I see if it's unlocked.
It is unlocked.
I very slowly open it, and I just see if he's still passed out.
So as you start to open the door, you feel it thump against something. The opening is just big enough for you to get your head most of the way through, but it's tight.
I actually don't jam my head through, because if he kicks the door, I'm going to get my neck broken.
That would be the case.
So I'm going to not do that.
Okay.
But I do just sort of peek in and see if I see any more of his like wireframe patchwork
From
stuff.
what you can see, the door opens in, the wall, and part of the desk. But nothing really beyond that. So you can kind of make out a partial web, but it's too far away for you to be able to make out any type of writing on the articles, or even if there were pictures, what they pertain to.
Looking at this, does anything jump out at me from last night? Because I remember looking around and being like, oh, wow. But
when you came in last night, you actually had a more full view of the conspiracy web, of the yarn moving back and forth across, and Rose had pulled you out very quickly. You do recall something about a butcher shop, and you do recall something about... let's see. You recall a little something about the butcher shop, and you recall a little something about the bazaar, and possibly them being connected, but it was a little hard for you to tell because there wasn't just one piece of yarn attached to the articles leading back and forth, but each one was almost like its own mecca for the different ways that it could be connected to other things inside the area. Roll me a... Yeah, give me a perception check. Actually, you have a high passive perception.
Mm-hmm.
So you recognize, and maybe most other people didn't, that some of the yarn was just a slightly different shade than a hard red. Some of them were darker red, some of them were a little bit more orange. However, that was just a noticed thing. You don't know whether or not that had any indication or if it was some yarn had been up longer and bleached by the sun.
I don't know how locks operate in Sharn. Is there anything like a bottom lock that I can kind of set and close it so it'll be locked after I close it? You know what I mean? Or is it like only like slide locks type thing? I'm trying to see if there's a way I can secure him so no one can come in on him while he's passed out.
The lock would require a key.
Well, I'll just quietly close the door.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I will make my way upstairs.
Okay. So, as I recall, Holly is, let's see, same floor of things. I should have written the floors down a little bit more specifically.
I felt he was on the same floor as Rose and I, but they're on the next one up from us, because Grizz is over us, because we could hear him freaking out.
Grizz is over you guys.
Right.
I'm on the first floor.
Yeah, Laucian is on the first floor.
I think I'm on the 3rd floor.
I think you're a higher floor. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm above them. I thought Polly was above
Well,
me.
He is above them specifically, and I recall, I seem to feel like they were on the 3rd floor, 3rd or 4th floor, and then he is on the 1st floor. But I think you are actually on the same floor as Rose and Harmatio.
All right.
You are now. It's like an HR Geiger thing.
Yeah, right. I actually had a diagram of it somewhere, but I don't have it now. I'm right. If I'm not, it's canon now.
Right, now.
So, you make your way down the hall a little further to meet up with them.
Well, Felix, who is that fascinating cow person that you were with last night?
Well, one, he's a Minotaur, not a cow person. That's really crappy of you.
Minotaur.
Yes.
We do not have these in the place I come from. Okay, I don't
Alright.
see the man. with the
So that's
bullet.
Polly.
Wouldn't he be a Sharnator?
Minotaur.
So,
All right, that's fine. That's Polly. He's a journalist, a friend of mine. We've gone out and had adventures before. He has some funny ideas. Actually, speaking of which, how about we step into my apartment?
Yeah. How's the door situation?
How is it?
Give me. Let's see. You're not a carpenter, yeah? You
I
have
just
carpentry
brought
tools.
what I had when I, nailed it up the first time.
Okay. Roll me a d8.
Damage.
Okay.
Just make it better.
D8.
Shouldn't you be using new wood instead of broken pieces?
7.
7. You brought 7 nails.
Okay.
And now roll me.
Big spender.
Roll me a d4.
1.
You brought 1 hinge. And now roll me a d10.
Is it which one? Is it this one?
No,
No.
that's
12.
This one, right?
Yeah.
3.
And 3 2-foot boards.
I have a hammer if you need one.
Is,
Of questionable integrity.
is the landlord not going to repair this thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to see him either try or maybe mess it up more, to be honest. By the way, you owe me some sheets.
Fascinating.
Yes.
What?
You owe me some sheets.
I don't know nothing about that.
Oh, you owe me some money.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, you do. Oh, as the make sure my friend is reimbursed for his 1 silver 5 copper that was required for the information for the library job. He is owed these monies.
Yeah, although we do have the 2 silver from... Are we stepping
do?
inside?
I
inside
think
now,
you
and
guys
don't start
are.
talking money until we're
Are
inside.
you still attempting to repair the?
Sure. I'm just going for it. With my
Okay.
7 nails, 1 hinge, and 3 2-foot boards.
Yeah. Okay. So
You owe me money too.
So
I'm trying to get the money for
Oh,
you.
it's not your day.
Me?
No.
I don't mind. I've got them. I have all of the money that we were paid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
just thought.
All right, so let's break this down. We got paid, and I say we because of the stuff that was spat up by Cantor's wife.
Jingler.
Yeah, Jingler spat up some things, and Garland kind of gave us a little bit of hush money, so that was 2 silver.
Correct.
Yep. So I don't. You had the 2 silver. Do you still have that 2 silver, or is that?
I gave one to
That was the
Tomatio, and I
money.
gave
All right,
one
to
to
pay
Grizz,
the thing. All right,
to
so.
pay for your rent.
All right.
That wasn't hush money. He was paying for the items.
Yeah, he was paying for us to be discreet about them.
Oh no, you're always discreet with him.
Yes,
You don't
exactly.
have to pay for that.
I mean, yes, but also the money is involved. That was for all of us to split. Yes. Just because you picked it up doesn't mean it's just yours.
No, I was just saying, I don't know if you want to start going there of who pays for what, keeping secrets, because he usually has a lot more than anybody else. And
No, I agree, but
That'd
that
be
is
expensive.
entirely beside the point. I'm
Okay.
just meaning that we as a group, we have been paid 2 silver from Garland.
yes,
We then got 5.5 silver.
7.
Correction, we got 7 silver, and you had a silver and a half taken from you.
The agreement, actually, when we started doing this job, was that we would do the job, and
for 7 silver.
For the 7 silver.
as he said, 7 silver minus my debt.
No, he just said 7
he
silver.
said the 7 silver was the agreement that we made with Garland, yes.
We all made with Garland.
For 7 silver.
Garland approached me about my debt and said, "You guys can, we can pay that off. I need a job done."
I hear you talking about money, and I just walk towards Grizz.
I could have sworn Garland came to me and said, "Hey, would you like to do a job?" And I said, "Sure. What job is it?" And then he said, "I have a book that needs to be returned." And I said, "Oh, okay. How much?" And he said, "For 7
I start
silver."
like banging loudly, like aggressively working on the door.
yeah, I hear just thump, 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 thump.
I
like,
don't remember him
don't,
saying
don't.
anything
Trying to
about,
drown out their voice.
about taking out expenses.
Believe me, you do not want to match memories with this person here.
That's
my
fine,
recollection
I-
matches his.
So do you so I can help move this along a little bit? Do you actually remember, or do you want?
Are you trying to
input?
con
Oh, yeah,
us?
are you trying
not-
to pull a
I'm not
fast one,
trying to
or you
con,
actually
I-
believe it was
So
Hang on, wait. Go.
so the actual deal
Yeah.
was for 7.
Okay.
When it was given to you, when you paid you,
Yes.
it was less what
Yes.
you owed,
Mm-hmm.
but 7 was what the actual deal was.
Yes. Although he prefaced it with saying
Not until
about
he
my debt.
paid you.
Yeah, that was not till
Yeah.
the
I
day.
don't remember that, but okay, fair enough. I'm all right.
No, I remember what you're talking. The implication was he would look upon it as working off your debt.
Correct.
But the number was 7. So
Yeah,
you're,
no, I
you're
agree.
not crazy with that.
No,
yeah,
it's-
this is an easy thing. Nobody's.
Yeah.
Right.
This is
That's
an
fine.
easy misconception. That's why I didn't know if you actually remembered or not, and why I let it sit for so long.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I thought you were just trying to pull a fast one.
Seriously, that is
I do remember that the implication before he started talking about money was that it would help pay off my debt. So that it got brought up in that way. Regardless, I've actually worked on bringing a bit more money for us. I went and turned over some of this money, and I turned it into an extra silver for us all.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's helpful.
wouldn't that be yours?
No,
How did you do this?
I went and put a little bit towards some cards, and I won enough to get you guys that.
Okay.
He makes money this way, I make money that way.
No judgments here, my friend.
No, absolutely. So yeah, so we have, how much? We have 2 from Garland.
Yes.
Then,
9, then 7 from Garland, so that's a total of 9.
Yes.
well, we didn't, in the end, we didn't quite get that.
But
I'm
that's
talking
what-
about money that's in hand right now. I'm just
Oh.
counting money that's in hand.
Oh, not what we earned, what we've collected.
Yeah. So we have that. We have 6.5, and the 2.
Okay.
And what do we have that came out
Of
those amounts?
Oh, what were the expenses for those amounts?
Yes, Laucian is owed the 1.5 for the information that we purchased. Yes. Which, by the way, we can always revisit the money. I don't want to get too lost in this. Just please do not spend any more of it. But
I didn't spend any of it in the first place.
I do have a question.
Sure.
This Paulie person, is he trustworthy? Do you think he would know about this Lady Heart person or what is happening?
I was meaning to ask him about Lady Heart last night, but I did find out a couple of things rather interesting about the food court next to the marketplace next to the library. I think Polly said there was this Minotaur by the name of Bothic or Balthic or something along those lines, at least in my notes that I took. He was really, really popular, and he was the owner of the bazaar.
Oh, so we're not dividing up the money yet?
I believe we can.
We can do this anytime.
Yes, we can revisit the money. We can revisit the money.
Okay.
Grizz, give me an athletics check,
Oh no.
a sleight of hand check,
We're gonna get locked into that.
14 for athletics.
14. You were doing a very good job of really hammering those nails.
Okay. Sleight of hand, you said?
Uh-huh.
Well, that's a natural 20.
So you were doing a very good job as well of keeping the hinges in place as you nail them down.
I'm kind of like humming to
Wait.
myself.
Question. What hammer was he using?
One from his toolkit.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. And
Just one.
he's like, give me your hand.
That counts as an assist, I think.
Yeah.
That's help. That's help, right?
And give me an insight check.
That would be 17.
And you are able to eyeball the approximate distances of the hinges. If you were proficient in carpentry seal, we could have done this in one check. However, you actually do line these things up pretty well. And you are able, with Xalen's help, to bring the door up back to its standard place. And you're only a couple of nails shy. So while you did a good job, it is still hanging off a little bit. Did you secure the top or the bottom hinge?
It's good that you brought that up because I actually drew a diagram.
You drew me
a
a diagram?
a little bit. Yeah.
Let me see it.
It's just there's.
That looks like a frog.
No, not that.
Carve a tiny punchy into it.
Yeah. I
You
more
put four nails
top.
on the top.
Yeah, and
Okay.
3 at the bottom.
So 2 and 2. Okay. So it's
Because-
just a little. It's pretty close.
Yeah, there's all the weights at the top.
It'll do-
so
yeah.
I'm trying to secure it at the top.
Look at you. Gosh.
So
You know what? I'll let that roll.
This isn't my first door I've broke down.
I feel like that's true. So, while you guys are trying to divide up the money, every time you start going through the numbers of the thing, it just thump, 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 thump. And Xalen, you hear a, but what about that one? Thump, 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 thump. Okay, well, I'll hold the thump, 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 thump. Now you can make proceed.
Let's calculate money kind of more in a little bit.
okay.
I
I just didn't want to leave it if we were still talking about it.
Sure. I mean, does anyone need change on their hands right now?
It could be divided.
I was going to pay my rent a month in advance, but that's just me.
That is unnecessary, my friend. No, you do not do such a thing, no.
Yeah,
Why not?
and we don't need to do that. So, here's what I've learned. Someone bought the.
Someone bought?
Someone under the alias of K bought out the bazaar. It seems like
How bizarre.
yeah,
Yeah.
someone bought the market out. The Minotaur owner was pushed out on some kind of immigration charge.
Oh, that happens.
Yeah, it's all very, very suspicious, and it's one of the things that Paulie's looking into.
Mm.
I am really torn on the side of this because this might involve some of the like pull you closer a little. The Bromar Halfling family.
Who?
They handle a lot of things that are below the line of legality.
You know this family?
Is
Or
that
have
a
you
short
just-
joke because they're the halflings in the
No,
middle
it
of
means
the...
that they're part of the criminal underworld.
Oh.
Yeah. So yeah,
So you think they bought the bazaar?
I don't think they bought the bazaar. If anything, Polly was looking into them, but there seems to be a strong connection between the Dream Lily and that halfling family.
Grizz, did you
Oh,
say...
you think they're smugglers?
I mean, absolutely.
When you all were in that area, did you see any signs of industry in the old bazaar besides the vagabonds and the people?
Not that I noticed. I wasn't looking.
I'm going to be perfectly honest. That lower area that Larry was abiding in, that's a lot more expensive than that building should be. There was a lot of money sunk into there, and I don't know why. Like, a little bit too much money. People don't make elevators made out of the same stuff that they make Warforged out of.
Oh, live wood?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's expensive. Really expensive.
You also said there were passages that went into the heights of the building, like we do not know how high up they go. Yes?
I mean, those are vents, so I didn't see any easily accessible ones. But it might be worth following some of those leads and finding out who might have bought this place. I'm a little nervous about getting Polly involved. He could be really useful. At the same time, he's not the most subtle guy. And
He's big.
he's my friend, and I don't want to see him get hurt.
But let us be clear, so we can make sure we're on the same page, because we all trying to grab what is the thing, the elephant from the different ends, and we don't know how much this connects. We have someone has killed Latch, so it seems. Apparently they have used the children as the assassins. We know the green glass-wielding children and also the girl with the wrench. We don't know if it's the same persons,
Tawny.
because she was at odds.
Yes.
Yes, the Tawny was her name. Yes. We know there is this Lady Hart who apparently has some hand in mistreating children. Perhaps she is the one behind these things. We have some mystery with the bazaar in odd ownership, which ties back to the odd ownership of the Old Dominion. We also know that Cad is leading some double life, and the cocoon coin with the nickel plating.
And then there's the wandering ghost lady in Necropolis.
Who? What?
Eh?
Oh, I thought we were just listing off mysteries and stories that we heard.
No, things that have
Oh.
happened to us, Laucian, in the last, what is this, week, the 10 days, whatever long.
There's also the House Kundarak key that we have.
Yes.
The what key?
House Kundar.
That the key that I gave
Kundarak?
you?
Yes, it's got a manticore on it. That's the family crest of a dragon-marked house.
What do they do?
They're the bankers.
Does
They
it open
handle-
a safety deposit box?
That's what I'm thinking. It's the banks and alarms and traps are their kind of speciality. There's probably some bank or place that this key unlocks.
Maybe it's in the club.
I doubt it would be in the club.
Although there is
Oh.
a door that we were trying to tell you about that had some.
It wouldn't have been an
that
alarm
door
or something
didn't.
in the club?
What Rose was saying, she said there wasn't a keyhole there. There was some kind of
Combination.
code that you
Yeah.
punch in.
One last thing. The child that we were in pursuit of last night, who I believe is the Kalashtar child.
You were
I
chasing
believe-
children.
We were, well, yes, but we were looking for the glass children and we stumbled upon the girl.
Tawny?
Hmm?
Tawny?
Not Tawny. I
Not
think
Tawny.
Tawny is in custody with the big belly policeman still.
No, it was a strange looking girl that kept disappearing every time I'd see her.
What'd she look like?
I pull out the letter and he says, the letter, you've got it, but it mentions the girl with the hair that like Rose's hair. We saw her. Well, you saw her. I never did.
I saw her
Hmm?
a couple of times. And then she kept disappearing.
I have a question. Ruby, what color was Tawny's hair?
You weren't there.
He saw her in the street.
Oh,
the first
Tawny,
Yeah,
time.
Tawny,
yeah,
Tawny was
Tawny.
blonde.
Tawny.
Sorry, Tawny was blonde.
20 with blonde? Okay, never mind. Thank you.
Well, Xalen has seen the child and seen Rose. Was the girl's hair like Rose's?
You don't have dark vision, but it would have been gray if you did anyway. So, you did see her indoors at one point.
Yeah, she saw her in the room.
And you did see her in the light of, well, you did see her in neon light. That would have been a little tough. But I will say that when you were in the room, her hair appeared to be a strawberry or champagne color. We'll call it strawberry champagne.
Laucian, the Kalestar, do they begin as the children? I don't know much about them. Or is it only when you are full grown that the spirit comes on a person? I don't know. Kalestar?
Oh, what?
The Kalestar, the you don't know. No one knows these things, what they are.
Do you want me to go with player knowledge, or do you let me know what I know?
Well, as somebody who spends quite a bit of time in a morgue, and would have probably gone, and you guys would probably have some amount of knowledge of at least probably the community that they have, although the Kalestar communities are typically very insular, unless you are perhaps a follower of the Path of Light, in which case you might be more accepted in that area. The interesting thing is they would never necessarily be rude to you or turn you away unless you cause some sort of disturbance. But they got a lot going on underneath, so they appear to be a lot more like, they're kind of like the Arctic. They're a frozen lake, if you will, with a Loch Ness monster-looking spirit swimming around underneath the ice. I think that's a pretty appropriate explanation of a Corey spirit. So, he would not necessarily know about them unless he had studied them specifically, and that probably would have needed to become, that probably would have happened at a university of sorts, which none of you have attended. And since none of you have any type of psionic heritage or background, I would say the only person that would be close to knowing something like that would probably be Felix, and that's only if he had had some reason to have an interaction with maybe some of their craftsmen or something.
I don't know much about them. They look like people, though. Usually pretty.
But then...
Well, to be fair, when they would get to you, they would just look human. They wouldn't have that flawless exterior anymore because...
They wouldn't be people. They would be bodies.
Well...
Carbon deposit.
More so that there's no amount of psionics being used at any given time in it, so that grace and flawlessness is not really a thing anymore.
And that's why I said usually.
Okay.
Why do you bring them up?
I did not witness the child, only Xalen saw her. But based on the description and the ability with which she was able to elude us, it fits the stories I have heard about these people, but I have no practical knowledge of what they really are.
Oh, was she the one bleeding in the hallway?
Is the door up? Because I won't say any of this unless the door is up.
The door is up, and to Grizz's credit, it swings appropriately. It does not necessarily stay 100% closed without the lock being repaired. Well, I guess the lock's actually not even broken. It's the door frame where the lock housing would have sat. So, how many pieces of wood did you bring down before?
I brought 3, and one of them
3
I used to.
So I take that back. There is a very shoddy housing for the locks now, so it is. It can close and it will stay closed. So yes, you guys are in some amount of confidence.
After he does that, I lean over to you and I say, I had no hand in this, my friend. We were not here when this took place.
You can
Keep
use
going.
You can use the door jam to keep that closed.
I don't want to
Is
talk
that
about
in
the
this
door right
language?
now, otherwise, no, just, nope, moving on.
Okay.
So as the morning wanes,
No,
you guys
when-
hear the 12th bell strike through.
When Xalen and I were investigating the youth last night, we came upon a man in the street who had been attacked. And she helped me save his life and bring him back here. We were seeking your help to get him medical attention, but you were not home.
Honestly, I don't know if that guy's gonna make it.
I could have helped after that.
Yes, you could, my friend, but that is the
Before that,
blood.
that's kind of tough. I probably
From-
would have gone to somebody else who's really good at that.
Rudy?
Mm-hmm.
The location that I have in that letter that I found on my door, is that in one of the more noble districts, or is that, what kind of society level is that place?
That is actually up in the. It's in one of the merchant districts. I will pull exactly where it is, but it's not here.
Yeah.
It's definitely a much
guess.
nicer.
Great.
Yeah, it's actually you would actually have to take a sky coach to cross the kind of like little canyon divide, or a good amount of walking on the sky bridges.
All right. Would it be wise for me to switch into something a little nicer, perhaps like an actual noble persona to basically make my way up there safely?
It would likely be necessary.
Okay. While this is going on, I'm going to start donning and changing.
Okay.
When I see him doing that, I look at you and I'm like, apparently he should be teaching us about the impersonating the people, huh?
Yeah, I think he's I think he's better at it. Why is your face still red?
It isn't. Just find more concealer.
Are you? Where are you going?
Well, I have somewhere I need to go. If one of you wants to come with me, Grizz, there's no way they'd let you up that high.
Where are you gonna go?
I need to go see a couple of people. One, I want to try and follow up on this key. And the second is I have an appointment with someone in the merchant districts.
It's in the central plateau.
In the central plateau.
Lower level, medium, middle level, or upper level?
Mid-ish.
Well, I probably will not be able to go with you in that case.
I'd go.
I must remain here for a delivery.
Yeah. Do you have, can you, I don't know how to say this with tact, so do you have anything without blood on it?
Yeah, my non-work clothes.
Great. You might need to change her into those.
Okay, but I've got to go to work tonight, so we can't be there very long.
Bring your work clothes with you in a satchel or something like that, all right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll go change.
Thank you.
Is that the? Have you guys solidified the?
One question, Xalen and Grizz. I don't know if there is anything else that can be done about this Lady Hart business. I don't know, is it worth investigating the club? I mean, do you all have any opinions on this?
I think we can go check out that door.
I like doors.
Yeah, if anything.
You sure? Because you were
You
pretty
know?
into that one.
Yeah, Grizz, if you kick the door in for the Old Dominion, people will notice.
I'd never kick in a door.
Uh-huh. I don't think you know how to open a normal door.
He does it all the time.
Or open a door normally. I've seen his door.
Do you want me to show you?
No,
Okay.
not at all, in fact. There's also a couple of other things you guys could potentially look into. Maybe who bought up the property of the
bazaar?
marketplace.
The market.
Oh, you're going to the city hall?
It could
I
make
thought
it
that's
work.
what
That is what Rose
that's
is
what
doing.
Rose is
She's
doing.
at City
Oh, is that
Hall.
what she is?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but
Yeah.
I told her about this.
She's
though.
definite. No, she knew to look to City Hall for the thing. She knew.
She didn't know about this information. I didn't tell her about who might have bought this up.
Unfortunately, she left before we could discuss
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
She's very dead.
Sure.
Yes.
I can always audit. But
Is that what
I
she
could
is?
ask Larry if he knows anything strange going on in the bazaar.
If he remembers
there
who he
for a
is,
while.
sure.
Yeah,
Do you
Or
want to
who
go
you
check
are.
out
that's
the-
about a 50-50.
I would.
Should we go see Larry?
That's a generous number.
Yeah.
Keep your nose out also for the glass-wielding children. I'm very interested to know where they are staying. Not necessarily the stabbing, but from where they are making their home. Perhaps that is also a course of action we can pursue.
Mateo, what are you planning on doing?
I have a delivery that I must be home when it arrives.
All right. Well, if that isn't too soon, you could always try and wake up Paulie and chat with him. If he isn't already awake. I don't think he is, though. He drank a lot.
I think I would greatly enjoy this. I saw some interesting things on his wall, but I also saw some nonsense things on his wall.
Mm-hmm. Paulie has a lot of big ideas. I would say approach everything with a grain of salt, or maybe just a handful of salt.
Just one thing before we go our separate ways that we never discussed. Grizz, you found the carpenter who put the sign on the Old Dominion.
Mm-hmm.
Do we think there's any chance that the person who made the sign might have helped with the rigging and booby trapping of the sign to kill him?
Maybe the
Yeah,
carpenter.
but what was the girl there with the wrench and stuff?
Well, but she could be the patsy is the word for the thing?
Kid had grease and a wrench on her. That's kind of open-closed.
Dora.
Sure, but why would the kid just be standing there completely shocked?
She just watched that living thing get crushed by a giant sign, and it could be nothing. Perhaps you just be. It's a thing to think about while you're out.
Another option is trying to find out where she is.
Tawny?
Yeah,
Well, she was last in custody. Where do you
Yes.
think she
Exactly.
would be out by now?
maybe. Who
Yeah.
knows? I mean, she might be responsible for the murder, or they might not let her go. So,
Or they could have used magic to make her do it, or
uh-huh.
she did have those marks from where she's been beaten in the past and scarred up, so maybe they threatened her that way. Or maybe she was told she was supposed to help him and she just made a mistake. Or maybe she could have actually just been convinced.
You are
that
correct.
was-
So-
There are many possibilities, my friend. Yes.
You were saying about the carpenter. Do you mean the carpenter who built the sign, or the one who put it up? Because
Yeah,
those are
because
two
we
different
went and
people.
got the sign.
Are they? Wait, yeah, you
They
got
were
the
two
sign.
different
The
people.
person who hung the sign, who Grizz was sent to retrieve. Yes.
Yeah.
The person who put the sign in place. Because I think if the sign was hung properly, a child with a single wrench should not be able to have destroyed it in such a way. Because if you recall, Latch thought something was wrong, which was why he was outside in the first place. So there was multiple levels to the sabotage. Something to ponder, as there are so many things.
Who told me to go get the carpenter?
That was Latch.
Oh,
He did.
okay. So he recommended the carpenter. Okay.
Yes.
Well, you
He
went to
said
find the
get
carpenter
a
you knew.
carpenter.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
what.
you
Oh,
did know the carpenter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's my choice.
You probably just found the first one that you saw.
Okay, I guess
Yes,
I'll go
that
get
might
my
be a dead end.
clothes and
Yeah.
change.
Great.
If
I'll-
my
I'll be
delivery
right back.
comes in time, I will see if I can find where the girl might have been held.
What are you getting?
It is a complicated thing to explain. I don't wish to delay you.
Oh, can you make a duplicate of that key?
Probably.
Yeah, we might want to do that.
Yeah.
I leave before they ask me anything else.
I mean,
Okay.
to be fair, I don't think the original owner is going to be coming back for that key.
Yeah, but whoever inherited it probably will.
All the more reason to find out where it is and clear it out beforehand.
Maybe, unless they already won it.
A single bell rings out across the afternoon.
I'm gonna go change.
Yep.
So we leave.
Let's go find Larry.
Okay. So, to be clear, you guys are going to find Larry.
Mm-hmm.
You're changing to go with him to the forge?
No, to the upper levels.
Yeah, to the upper levels for Forge, and then hopefully I'm gonna, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Hamatio is going to hang out and wait for a package.
Well, we established Polly lives on my floor.
Yes.
I actually will go to Polly's door again, but I'm kind of going to hang in the hall, so like if anybody came to my place, I'd see them, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. This time,
Um,
I knock. I don't open the door again.
Okay, so this isn't a thing that where we need to roll for creepy again, huh?
I mean, I have advantage on all the creepiness rolls.
You definitely have advantage on creepiness.
Glad somebody does.
You have a high-level passive creepy. Automatic
Yeah.
success.
No problem.
You have it's creepy.
All right. So, well, I'll let you guys decide who wants to do what first. All right. So you two gentlemen get all changed, get gussied up. He is not wearing anything that has blood on it.
So glad.
Yet.
And you guys make your way out. You are heading to which thing first?
Forge first.
To the forge first.
Yes.
So, you guys make your way to the closest lift to take you up the Middle Duras here on this side. From Gold Gate, you come up into Hope's Peak, which is the Mildura Temple District. It's where the majority of different religions all kind of get together side by side, mostly of the individual sovereign host, but also there are always nearby an outpost or two for the Silver Flame, some of the other sects or religions, and always nearby in the shadows somewhere, the Blood of Vol keeps an very, very interested eye on the comings and goings of individuals in and out of the Temple District.
What is that, roughly? Quickly?
What?
Oh, I know.
It's a different religion.
Okay, nothing I've heard much about.
A different religion.
Okie dokie.
This is where I come to go to temple. Okay.
And as you make your way to the sky bridge that would lead you across towards the trade fair, which is the name of the marketplace on the central plateau, it's not the finest shops, but it is where the upwardly yet still affordable goods can be sold. These are going to be most of the shops that sport the crest of one of the dragon marked houses for whatever their wares are. But this crest is the blackened
Okay.
full crest, not the one that embodies the colors of the house. So as you guys move towards one of the larger buildings that seems to have this almost runoff, but the runoff is enclosed and like kind of off to the side. So the tower itself has like almost like a little extra leg to it that runs right on the side of the tower. And you know that this is a way to drain wastes, water that is not water that's been mixed with stuff, or in the specific case of this building, sometimes the runoff of impurities in certain metals. As you enter the forge of Forge Master Illahorn Sylvain. Sylvain. This is new to you, Laucian, but in sort of an appreciative homecoming, as you enter, you take stock of what has changed in the years that it's been since you set foot within this forge. You see the familiar vats lining the center of this large production style forge, with the big gangplank walkways that roll down alongside so that other things can be added to the mixtures of molten metals. Not necessarily magical items or spells that, or ingredients and components to help make some of these items into magical weapons and armor, but that gangplank would be where they did that, and that is probably the most poignant memories that you have is as a adolescence, moving back and forth across those during your apprenticeship. As you make your way in through the initial sort of foyer, you see the familiar arms of the blacksmith's shop spread before you in a crescent. And the gap between it leading a little further back towards the gap, or the gap between them leading a little bit back further between the large vats, you can see where certain offices seem to be held. It does not appear like you recognize anyone that is currently working the bellows, the anvil, or any other apparatus in the area.
Is there anyone standing idle, or perhaps in the front, kind of to watch the wares?
There seems to be a collective awareness from the people that are there. And when you start to approach, you do hear someone clearing their breath, clearing their throat, as almost as if calling someone to the front.
Great.
You see a wide-shouldered dwarf in clothing similar to yours, matching the high-browed nature, in a sense, but clearly not something that he's working the metal or the forge in.
Yeah.
As he approaches, you can see him about to begin his spiel of enticing you, and even to the point where he's starting to gesture to the wares closest to the outside of the shop again, leading you around in what you would know is the standard little show and pony.
I'm going to raise my finger to call attention.
As you do, he takes a breath. He's about to start, and he holds it.
I would like to speak with the master of the forge. Sylvain and I have business.
Oh?
Yes.
And who may I ask?
You can tell him that a friend is here.
Well, a lot of people want to be friends with somebody who is certified by Kenneth to make weapons and stuff. We can't be bothering him with all the friends that somebody of that stature would be.
I'm going to produce the letter, but not actually show him the contents. He sent me a missive. I'm here on his request.
And... all right, Felix. And he turns and he walks back towards the back, reading the front of the letter before making his way. A little bit later, coming between the two vats in that little area, you see a 6'4", thank you, a 6'4" tall, dark-skinned man with a powerful but methodical feel about him. Even each step is very measured, and each breath almost seems to be thoughtful. The muscle of his wide shoulders and long arms ripple down towards a long torso and pretty powerful tree trunk looking legs. His buildings that seems to have this almost runoff, but the runoff is enclosed and like kind of off to the side, so the tower itself has like almost like a little extra leg to it that runs right on the side of the tower. And you know that this is a way to drain wastes, water that is not water that's been mixed with stuff, or in the specific case of this building, sometimes the runoff of impurities in certain metals. As you enter the forge of Forge Master Illahorn Sylvain. Sylvain. This is new to you, Laucian, but in sort of an appreciative homecoming, as you enter, you take stock of what has changed in the years that it's been since you set foot within this forge. You see the familiar vats lining the center of this large production style forge with the big gangplank walkways that roll down alongside so that other things can be added to the mixtures of molten metals. Not necessarily magical items or spells that, or ingredients and components to help make some of these items into magical weapons and armor, but that gangplank would be where they did that, and that is probably the most poignant memories that you have is as a adolescence, moving back and forth across those during your apprenticeship. As you make your way in through the initial sort of foyer, you see the familiar arms of the blacksmith's shop spread before you in a crescent. And the gap between it leading a little further back towards the gap, or the gap between them leading a little bit back further between the large vats, you can see where certain offices seem to be held. It does not appear like you recognize anyone that is currently working the bellows, the anvil, or any other apparatus in the area.
Is there anyone standing idle, or perhaps in the front, kind of to watch the wares?
There seems to be a collective awareness from the people that are there, and when you start to approach, you do hear someone clearing their breath, clearing their throat, as almost as if calling someone to the front.
Great.
You see a wide-shouldered dwarf in clothing similar to yours, matching the high-browed nature in a sense, but clearly not something that he's working the metal or the forge in.
Yeah.
As he approaches, you can see him about to begin his spiel of enticing you, and even to the point where he's starting to gesture to the wares closest to the outside of the shop again, leading you around in what you would know is the standard little show and pony.
I'm going to raise my finger to call attention.
As you do, he takes a breath. He's about to start, and he holds it.
I would like to speak with the master of the forge. Sylvain and I have business.
Oh?
Yes.
And who may I ask?
You can tell him that a friend is here.
Well, a lot of people want to be friends with somebody who is certified by Kenneth to make weapons and stuff. We can't be bothering him with all the friends that somebody of that stature would be.
I'm going to produce the letter, but not actually show him the contents. He sent me a missive. I'm here on his request.
And... All right, Felix.
And he turns and he walks back towards the back, reading the front of the letter before making his way. A little bit later, coming between the two vats in that little area, you see a 6'4", thank you, a 6'4" tall, dark-skinned man with a powerful but methodical feel about him. Even each step is very measured, and each breath almost seems to be thoughtful. The muscle of his wide shoulders and long arms ripple down towards a long torso and pretty powerful tree trunk looking legs. His thick black hair is loosely bunched behind his head. The little bit that does protrude past the leather strap seems tousled, but also frayed at the edge, cracked and dry, and in some places even burnt and ashy from a lot of time spent at the fire. He is very clean shaven, and he has a very angular face, a strong jaw, and a proud chin. His hook nose divides round, green eyes under very bushy eyebrows. He also seems to have a very distinctive tattoo over his left shoulder, a massive black anvil, a proud mark as a contractor of House Cannon.
Master Felix, good of you to come.
I received your letter, and it seemed urgent.
Of
Forge
course.
Master.
Come, let us see to my office.
He guides you back, stopping after a couple of steps, noticing that your entourage seems to have a tentative gait initially and very inquisitive eyes. And he kind of looks from Laucian to you.
He can be trusted, but if you feel this is more private, I can ask him to wait outside.
Hello,
Hi.
I am Eberron.
Hi, Eberron. I'm Laucian.
Hello, Laucian. Did I say it right? Very good. It's probably best if he waits.
That's fine.
Do you want anything to drink? It can get hot in here.
Sure. If you have something.
You have plenty of water.
Water's good.
I'll have them fetch the clean stuff for you.
Oh, thank you.
He makes a little snap, and you see a boy in a apron that sort of drags along the ground between his feet, comes scuffling that way. Look up at Illithorn. He gestures in the form of a water scan and points off in the direction. The little boy kind of nods and turns and runs off.
The young master will return shortly with a water flask for you.
Oh, he's master too?
Well, we like to encourage our proteges. Isn't that right, Felix?
Yes, Forge Master.
Gives them a sense of pride.
Oh, okay.
It also teaches the ones that come from big houses that they need to act accordingly.
And he turns with that and leads you back to the office. As you make your way into the office, you see what is actually, maybe on purpose, very similar to the way that your apartment looks. Not so much with the decorations, but the desks laid out with all of the trappings of some projects in half-finished states, some clearly that had started whole and started to be broken down, of maybe foreign apparatus that he's trying to learn to reverse engineer. You can see other schematics in different places and schemas that are spread across his wall in the same way that Pauly has very specific things spread out, although these are not chopped up into clippings and degraded for the sake of unity, as their intellectual property seems to actually be very specific, methodically thought out, and re-inked when necessary. He leads you in, and then up to a spiral staircase in the back of his office that takes you back up to the top of the long game planks. As you make your way, or as he makes his way off onto the catwalk area and past the vaults, you can start to hear a louder kind of presence as the magic that heats the vats has a very specific hum to it. And you recall that he likes to actually have most of his important discussions in just such an area for that loud reason. He leads you down almost to the point where you can look over the crescent to the very last vat straddled between the two separate catwalks. And then he leans down, his hands on his hips, moving down until he's, we're gonna have to say, probably eye to forehead with you. So, how have you been occupying yourself?
Up and down.
That is not an occupation.
I'm still working on a few things here and there.
Like?
It's business ventures and investments mostly. You know how those things can get a little busy, I suppose.
You see him fold his arms and his posture go straight as he squints down at you. Felix, this vagueness, it's unbecoming. You know that I have been probably more receptive to your situation than, well, even your father.
During this time, I think Felix's eyes would be darting to the smelting pots and
Sure, I'm
kind
sure
of
you're
darting back. Yeah.
I'm sure you're keeping an eye on the surroundings a bit.
Yeah.
So, how about you speak a little more plainly with me? You're not still trying to make a run at the as a professional gambler, are you?
I seem to be getting by on it, mostly. I'm usually ahead of my, on time with my rent.
He kind of like scans you up and down. And he goes, "There's a slight hole behind the leg, the kneecap of your pants there."
And just kind of pull my duster a little closer together, even though it's a little warm.
Felix, while I am not allowed to shepherd you directly, you always had a gift for metallurgy, a love, it seemed. You were so fascinated with the process. It would be a shame to have that sort of be wasted.
There isn't much I can really do without the gesturing at the tattoo, without approval. So
Yes, but
I'm kind of shut out.
not in the lower areas. Someone with your lineage could still fetch a very convincing sum for the work.
Pretty sure if I start throwing that around, I'm going to get in trouble with gesture upwards.
I do happen to have the sway of the Durs below. But if that is what you wish, you were just so promising.
If you have a few ideas, I would be interested in earning a little extra coin, to be frank. But I don't know how good I am at that anymore.
Have you been practicing the tinkering I taught you?
A bit. Quite a bit. I noticed you had... is there anything that when we walked past that I might have noticed that looked familiar?
Most of them
kind
were
of-
foreign,
Yeah.
in the sense that he was trying to reverse engineer things for
Mhm.
House Cannon. You would have probably recognized anything that may have come from Sire specifically, or Kyrie, depending on... Actually, I'd say your house probably pronounces it Kyrie.
Alright.
You would have noticed probably anything from there, but it actually seemed like most of the stuff that was there had a more Karn feel, in the sense that it just appeared to be more rugged and utilitarian. You noticed a couple of different little apparatus and some links, perhaps to manacles or shackles or a collar or something.
I saw a few. I'm still up to date in a few things. I noticed the kind of locking mechanisms and the shackles that you're working on right now, but
Are you still making documents?
depends what you mean by yes.
Is that part of your professional gambling?
No, I would say more of a side endeavor.
It is risky.
I've got a lot of side endeavors.
I see. Well, if you would be interested in meeting, I can see about arranging a couple of opportunities at some of the other forges in the lower Durs. If you're, maybe even in the cogs, nobody from the house will come there.
Suppose.
Great. Well, I will. I would much rather you be doing that than your side endeavors. Great. Okay.
And he just kind of spins immediately. Like, you've already taken more of his time than he really wanted to associate to this with your coyness. So he turns on a heel and starts strutting back down the walkway. You start, but then feel... Were you going to say something to him?
What was... Didn't you say there was something dangerous?
I did?
No. This is me saying to the Forge Master.
Oh, about?
Didn't the letter actually say that there was kind of something, like, a danger to me? Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought that you had a, I thought that you kind of picked up on what he was getting at. He turns back around and gives you a crinkled brow expression, the big bushy eyebrows starting to kind of like curve in around his eyes.
Yes. It might not hurt you to
And he kind of like looks around, like scanning. You can still hear the hum of the heat from the hum of the magic that's keeping the vats heated. And he just kind of looks around, and he can even see like the little boy that's his little guy, and he's like,
There's been some questioning into the events that led to your expulsion. And someone who thought was dead is not. And
I'm gonna lean in.
you know what happened? Well, Papi of one of them is not dead as we thought.
Alright.
He stumbled out of the fog and mist of Gary. And is wondering just how something that your papa covered up was so quickly dismissed by the council. Makes sense now.
Sure. Yeah. Go
And
ahead.
then he turns and takes a brisk pace back. As your eyes have sunk into your feet, you start to kind of take in the last moments of the forge, as though you may never be in them again. At least this one. Your eyes drifting over the large bat of swirling orange and black metal. And you hear something call to you, raising the hair on the back of your neck. I sense you. I feel you. You left me here. And we go to break.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. We'll see you guys back here in a little bit. Wanted to say thank you to the new subs that we've gotten this week. Remind everybody about the Twitch Prime subscriptions. Now's a good time to pop in some of those. And stay tuned. I'm gonna drop some of that Idle Champion gold chest love in the chat right now to give you guys a little something to play with while we're gone. Back in a little bit. Probably about 10 minutes. Did I just give myself a black eye? I hope so. Welcome back to Inkwell Society,
Society.
where we're taking a very humble approach to Sharn. with a bunch of people who have no class. Yet. First off, we would like to go ahead and give another huge shout out to our patrons over on patreon.com/mazearcana for all the people that are there doing their best to support us making new content on the regular basis. Very soon there will be the thoughts and perhaps even dreams of these classless people on the Patreon for you to enjoy if you are one of our Arknights there. Eventually that'll make its way over to the Reddit where Denol has been starting out making a thread of the episode synopsis in case you need to catch up, and also putting his thoughts in there about who the MVPC and MVMPC is for each episode. So go ahead in there and put in like a vote, or if you think somebody else had a great episode, like go ahead and let us know why. We do go hang out on the boards, and we do read those things, and we do reply, and it's always enlightening for us to know what it is about the characters that you guys find interesting. I certainly like reading about the NPCs and seeing what it is that you all respond to.
And why Antonio was his first vote for the first NPC.
Yeah. Tony was... Tony...
Not Robert.
No, Tony beat out Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who was Tony? I don't remember Tony.
He's the guy with the spear.
You made him cry.
I think that made me the MVP,
Quite
not
good.
Tony.
Well, that's why we have the delineation, right? I think that's what he went through there to make sure that there was a difference between NPC and PC.
Pretty sure Tony's in a ditch somewhere now.
Poor guy.
He is a good summary, though.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
We also have upcoming summaries from Nick and Chicken. So again, make sure you at her, keep on her to make sure she does the thing.
But I understand those will be in a completely
Yeah,
different
you.
format.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
They won't be a Reddit style thing. They'll be
Better.
elsewhere.
Yes.
I don't think one is necessarily better than the
Yeah,
other in
not
that
better.
sense, but
Yeah.
some people have time for one thing and not the other.
Yes.
So, thank you guys that are patrons. Thank you guys that are throwing us bits. We love seeing you guys have your little cheer wars. And it's like, when we go through and we read and we watch everything, seeing the moments where you guys cheer for things and why. I think Felix right now might be in the lead for that.
Oh, hey.
And I also kind of feel like I want to do some sort of meter or something, but I've got to decide how I would go about doing it. I wish I could make it a panel instead of it being something that's actually on the stream portion. But beyond that, we have some other we have some other Twitch shows to talk about at the end of the program, but Tuesdays and Fridays are starting to kick off a little better. With that, let us drop right back into the Inkwell. Felix and Laucian have made their way to one of the House Cannith contracted forges where it's very hot. It's pretty hot. And we got a little glimpse there into Felix's backstory. And a voice seemed to start to call to him from the swirling, molted metal in the large vats of a forge that he seems to have spent some of his adolescence at. As the final syllables of that call start to allow the goosebumps on your neck to fade a little. Make me a wisdom save.
9. So that would be a fail, I would think.
Well, you don't know my DC.
Yeah,
true.
know that.
Now it's bad.
There is a thing called, well, you turn, squaring your shoulders with the large vat, staring down, your feet shuffling slightly closer and closer to the edge until your chest runs up against the railing. Your neck cranes down and your eyes squint, as if searching for something in the molten liquid. And then you see it. Hamatio paces back and forth inside his apartment.
Somewhere I have a pamphlet of the Sovereign Host, a small thing I was given in the street sometime. I want to find it. Perhaps I can read it so I will be better prepared when I next talk to Xalen. I will search for this to occupy myself.
Okay, give me an investigation check.
My giant dice does not help me very often. 12.
So you spend a good amount of time kind of pacing back and forth, checking under all the things. In the recent fit of cleaning, Rose seems to have actually organized things, but nowhere near in the way that you would have organized them. Which I'm sure is a little more, I know where it is. And it takes you a solid 45 minutes or so before you lay down to take a nap. And after a restless little bit of time in which the heat of Sharn kind of just smothers you, you get up, realizing that you have sweat through Rose's gorgeous sheets. And this is probably why she doesn't let you sleep there. And you are rewarded, though, as by rolling off of the very cushioned little pallet that she has, square between your feet is the pamphlet, sitting atop a couple of ratty, spine-broken books. You lift it up and you begin reading. And that's what you wanted to do with your time? Fine.
Reconnecting with I cannot be lecturing her about the greater realities of the existence without putting a little time back into it myself.
Okay.
He's recharging his creepy.
Yes. I do not have the infinite capacity that you have, my friend.
Oh! You are standing in a forge. All right, back into that. So, about after you finish about one panel of this pamphlet, you hear a knock at the door.
Who is it?
It's Cyril.
I run to the door.
Oh.
Yeah.
I understand that I have to thank you for getting me out of the street.
I bring him inside, and I look back in the hall. Do I see anyone else?
No.
I bring him inside. I'm like, your name is Cyril, you say?
Cyril.
Cyril. Yes. My associate and I, we found you had been injured. You said you were stabbed with a glass knife?
I don't recall saying anything to you. I passed out in the alley.
It is not quite true, but I understand why you would lose track of things. Here, would you like to sit? Would you like to lay? I apologize. It is such a hot day.
I could sit.
I put him in my chair.
He starts to sit and then essentially just sinks into the quagmire
that, like, just basically the crater that is your recliner, from the difference in just the size alone of the two of you.
Like, don't fight it, my friend. Allow it to engulf you, yes.
You can see him kind of shift a little bit, looking as though he's being very protective over that side. I've got to be careful of the stitching.
Ah, so they did not use mystical means to heal you, just the mundane healing.
What was there supposed to be somebody who could do that?
I only requested that they save your life. I did not know by what means they would do so.
It seems they have. I can probably recover once I return to the temple.
Where is this temple?
It's up on the middle ward of the Stora. I'm one of the priests of the sovereign host.
I was just reading to reacquaint myself with the hosts. I had not thought of them in some time until shortly after I found you, actually.
They're all around. How is it that they escape your thoughts?
Recent events in my life have kept me, what shall we say, a very mundane focus in existence. But I have a friend who is trying to find herself in this world, which reminded me of needing to not lose myself in it.
I wish you luck in your journey. It is the loss of the path that typically leads to such mundane practice.
There is a saying where I come from that it is not the weight, it is how you carry it.
You must be from Under.
Once, yes.
There is a certain amount of wisdom to that. But that also insinuates that you have to carry it all yourself. That is perhaps not the best way when there is an entire heavenly host there to parcel out your burdens.
I sort of sit on the floor and actually kind of pick up the pamphlet. I say, I do not mean to be insensitive to your state, but I cannot help but think recent events, being in certain places, certain times, running into certain people, could not have been a simple coincidence. I have always had my faith, but I am a man of reason, of clues, of signs, of concrete things. But I feel like I am being swept along in events. To this event now? To what end? I do not understand.
Do you think to predict the future?
I have always attempted to direct the future, if I am to be truthful with you, sir.
What does that mean?
I fix things. I clean messes. I help things go unnoticed and unseen, and quite frankly, unpunished. That is my vocation.
You are rather vocal about it, it seems, as you've only just met me. Perhaps the burden is on your conscience. And if that's the case, you should ask the host to help ease it off your shoulders. Then, perhaps your sayings would not need to carry such weight for you.
I kind of nod towards his injury and I say, are you prepared to make your journey if I assist you, or would you prefer to rest?
Let us make our way. But I would love to have some water first, if that's all right.
Absolutely. And then go get him water.
Great. And Grizz and Xalen hit the hot streets of Eberron. Somewhere amidst your stroll back towards the library and the Little Droam Bazaar and food court, a place of much turmoil and consternation for your companions. That 2 o'clock bell rings out through the city, and like clockwork, that swampy early summer rain descends down upon everything, dampening not just your clothing and hair, or wig, I guess, but also your spirits a little further. Where would you like to go now that you are arriving there at the library and food court area? We'll say you're just outside the actual spire.
Well, I suppose we should go check where Larry lives.
Sure, that little area behind. And go
Yeah.
investigate. Yeah.
We'll
See
go
if
to
he knows anything that could be of help to us.
So you guys make your way into that back alley where the fire escapes are? Are you like trying to climb into the? How are you?
Wasn't there that when
Oh,
we
yeah.
first was that first door that
When
we
I
had?
fell down?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that like easy to get to, or do you have to?
Well, you can walk to it down the hallway. It's in the same hallway where the library is adjacent to.
Okay.
Okay, so you make your way into this, into the tunnel between the library and the food court, passing the familiar book return, and aligning directly across from the doors that would lead you into the library. You turn opposite of them to see the 2 doors there for the food court, now boarded up, as the hinge that you broke off some days ago is now not keeping the door up without additional aid.
Is it like heavily boarded up?
There's like a couple of cross-section boards, kind of like making like a double X kind of over them.
Well, it should be no problem for you, right?
Oh, you got that fun hand.
Yeah, I think we can get in. How do you want to go about?
After you.
So I try to crowbar hand my way into this door.
Yeah, we should have actually assigned you what the actual kit was that you, because the way that this does work is you have a proficiency with a specific tool type.
Okay.
Since we went through the whole carpentry thing, I'm going to assume it's not that.
Okay.
Either that or you were just being very cruel to Grizz, which, you know, I don't necessarily put past Xalen, but we will. You can think about that. You can kind of look through some of them in when we swing away from you. In the meantime, and for the reason that I'm saying that is because we got some updates on some of the racial stuff, and it modified a couple of things.
Okay.
So we'll say, yeah, you pull out your crowbar hand, and
Look and make sure nobody's around.
you're keeping an eye out?
Yeah.
Okay. How?
So are we in an alley right now?
You are inside, so there's a tunnel,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
On the left side of the tunnel and this is inside the spire. So big spire,
Okay.
kind of like a tunnel that goes straight through it.
Uh-huh.
Only the inside, like on that far side, it's been closed off.
Uh-huh.
you can recognize from this and from being on the other side that that is actually where kind of the chute was for extra waste, and it's very adjacent, very close to the lift apparatus that you would use the other day.
Okay.
Now, the left side, when you come in this tunnel, is the library. It's double doors, and it would lead out into your favorite little amusement area. On the right side is where the food court is, and it's only the double doors, which are now boarded.
Is this like a high traffic area? Does it seem to be?
The library can create quite a bit of traffic, and now that it's raining, there's very likely to be people that will try to escape the rain and wait it out, perhaps. Especially knowing that sometimes the rain that reaches the lower doors is not necessarily clean water from the sky. So how would you like to go about keeping watch?
I'll watch mainly the that busy area where it goes into the library. Like, I'll be back away.
You're like
from
right, it's literally right across from that.
Oh, then I guess I'll just stare at it.
Okay. So you're essentially watching to see if somebody's going to come out of the library.
Sure.
Okay. We'll see how this goes.
All right.
Go ahead and give me, if your intent here is to pry the door off, go ahead and give me an athletics check.
Okay.
Oh wait, so actually, this will basically be a tool proficiency for X tool that you are using for this, since it's only supposed to be the one that you're proficient with that you have on.
Okay.
So actually, give me your make it a strength check, but you can add the proficiency bonus, which is a +2.
Okay. Okay.
Oh no.
That
Do I?
good.
I mean,
It
what do you want to do?
landed.
Should I just keep in play?
sure.
Okay.
I mean, it didn't
That was
fall off. It didn't fall
No.
out per se.
No, it's fine. 16.
Okay. So you set to loosening the boards. What is your intent here? Are you just trying to take them all off, or?
I'm trying to take enough off that we could sneak through, as do the minimum that needs to be done to get in.
Okay. So you set to loosening some of the boards, and you're able to kind of pry them loose enough that the door itself kind of inches forward a little bit, leaning in the same way that Grizz had fallen through, breaking one of the hinges off before. You guys are able to make your way in and slide the door back up to where it kind of appears to be there. But with the hinge missing, it's still a little bit of daylight or a little bit of the lantern light inside from the eternal flame kind of creeps through into the darkness, in which you have no problem seeing, but you are a little in the dark.
I take out my hooded lantern and light that to assist in my riff-raffery. I don't know.
Okay. You draw out your hooded lantern and start to shine it about, seeing the broken tables and chairs, the dust and dirt, little bits of kind of path, footprints that are shimmied left and right of the broken places. And you recognize the table that you alleviated a specific board from for use in the library heist. As you guys scan the area, you can see the ramp that leads up to the second floor, and you also scan across a couple of sheets and tents that seem to be kind of like what we would just call hasties that are set up there, and just garbage and some excrement floating about in the area.
Is there any other, does it, so there's that one path that goes...
There's kind of different little footpaths that are
Okay.
spread out because of the dirt or mud or dust that has been disturbed from foot traffic, but it's not a lot. It just looks repetitive, as if the people, it would give you the sense that whoever was making that trip back and forth is habitually in this place.
Maybe we should follow those. Maybe that'll lead us to where Larry is.
All right.
Okay, so it doesn't take you guys long to ascertain that one leads to the stairs that go up to the next like kind of little overhang where there are additional chairs and tables and stuff, like places for people to eat. And the other one kind of leads to the little lift that would be Larry's, or take you to Larry's little icebox.
I hate this thing, but we should, probably.
The lift is currently down, meaning it is in the subterranean level.
Right, and it needs to come up.
It would need to come up,
And
if
that-
you remember how.
Yeah.
Pull the rope
Yeah.
up.
So, who's going to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay, because this is not the one on the wall.
Yep.
Okay, so as you walk into the center of the area, about 5-6 feet in there, you reach over and you grab, and then you dive. Knowing this is going to happen, I will let you make the dexterity saving throw at advantage
All right.
as you lunge. Oh.
No. Do I not use that one?
No, you're not going to use that.
Also, knowing this, would I be able to add help?
Okay.
No, not really.
I mean, you
She's
rolled
already
twice.
getting advantage.
So you said
There's
this
no.
is Dex with
It's
advantage?
a dexterity saving throw with advantage. So you roll it twice,
Okay, so
take the
first one-
highest.
First one's 18. Yeah, so 18.
Okay, so you were able to jump right back out. You were able to jump right back out as the lift slams up, kind of shaking as it makes contact with the roof.
All right, going in.
You walk back in, you reach your hand in, snatch it back out, and the lift descends. Again, clattering against the ground, testing your balance, but otherwise leaving you unharmed. You are now down in the corridor, and you hear.
Oh no, you lead the way.
do I see Pig anywhere?
You do not see Pig from the current vantage point. Are you exiting the lift?
Can I tell where that sound is coming from?
Outside the lift,
Like above, or just out there?
just out there.
Okay, and I don't
forgot
see
about
anything.
Pig.
So
As you lean out, not moving out of the lift, but leaning out, you can see that Pig appears to be in some form of nocturnal state.
okay. Is it? Can we walk past it?
Give me a stealth check.
Okay. 22.
22. You were able to tiptoe past it very easily.
Oh no.
Are you? You have your. Are you using your lantern still?
Yes.
All right. Make me a stealth check at disadvantage.
Also,
Oh,
I'm gonna check
no.
my pockets. Do I have any of that garbage? Do I find any gross? stuff in
Doesn't.
my
I mean,
pockets?
well, is that? Do you want to make it to where that is a thing that Grizz typically has? Is just random garbage in his pockets? If that's a thing that you want,
Like-
it is. But now it's
like
going to be a
hoard.
thing.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
it's- I have that thing too.
Great.
Yeah. I know a lot about that thing. My pockets full of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roll me a d4.
Wait, what are you doing?
That's a 1.
You have one piece of garbage, or at least enough for one distraction
Okay.
for Piggy. What did you get?
9.
9.
Huh.
So you're able to make your way across very easily, but as you're basically just shining the light on Grizz, like making sure that he's taking it, you don't step on Piggy, but you do shine the light directly on it as you're scanning back and forth, and you hear a and it is right next to you.
Grizz. Help. something.
Okay. I'll throw it in the opposite route. No, well, I don't know.
Is it a
So
win?
And we'll come back to you then. Laucian, you are pacing around back and forth downstairs, and you look up to notice that Felix seems to be just entranced in this basically cauldron above you. You can't hear anything, but he seems to be talking to it.
Does he look like he's in distress?
No, he looks
Okay.
almost serene, or maybe at least docile.
Okay.
However, your experience differs greatly. As you, what'd you get on? You got in a 9 on your wisdom save, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
What you see is the interior of a large, what you could only assume to be perhaps like a brass diving bell. Almost in an oblong shape, though, as if perhaps some sort of long apparatus that could be used to pearl dive for long periods of time. Except for the bottom is not open. It is covered with throw pillows, rugs, and sheets that would make Rose quiver. You are sitting cross-legged directly across from basically a smoldering aesthetic of a black-skinned, very fiery-eyed individual whose hair seems to actually be made of flame itself. Every now and then, the skin kind of shifts as these veins of lava undulate, giving you a very anxious awareness, considering you see no exits. But it does still appear to be just as warm in here as it was in the forge, which is a distant memory.
Well, I'm not sure who you are, but you have lovely taste.
You know me. You've always known me. Felix. Oh, Felix. Remember, I'm who watched out for you. I told you about the two plotting against you. I took care of them for you. Did I not?
Of a sorts. Of a sorts.
Are they to be found?
Not in so many places, no.
And I did this for what? Just to protect you. Because you're special, Felix. It doesn't take much to see that. You feel a certain scar-like tissue
begin to burn. Give me a Constitution save.
19.
Gritting your teeth, you fight it back. Doing your best not to let the creature before you notice, but it's almost as if he's a part of you already. So Felix.
Always on time.
Always on time. Felix, why do you hide the wonderful power within you?
You know why.
As your eyes drift to that very specific spot, you notice that almost in an instant, he seems to be right behind you, almost in your ear. Yes, I do. That does not make it right. There are those that would kill for what you have.
And those who would kill because of it.
And those who can kill in spite of it. Let me help you. Together, we can do things of great good for the cosmic balance of this world and everyone in the multiverse. With my guidance and your help, we can do great things. And then you see him kind of materialize again in front of you, almost as if there was like a cloud of smoke that had disappeared from behind you, but in a very loose, hypnotic pattern. And then whoosh, and poofed up back in front of you. You can actually start to make out now that all of this, his entire, like, presence is almost of this same twisting, twirling state, to where you're almost not sure whether or not he is made of vapor or smoke or molten rock. But a sash around his waist, large, very aerated pants, and the dancing flames across his head seem to jog your memory of stories that your mother used to tell you back before the incidents that led to your current predicament.
I'm listening.
If you help me, I'll help you. While you may enjoy the taste of the living conditions, I am finding them boring after centuries, or millennia, or however long I've been here. And I wish to bestow upon you gifts, not in a tit-for-tat, but in more of a union. If this life that you lead is not as shackling as the one that might we not help each other?
I could do with a little more freedom. Seems like you could too.
I think that we deserve it, Felix. I think that we deserve each other. This is not something to take lightly. And had you not already the strength within you and that mind, this would not be anything ever offered to anyone else without such carefully curated capabilities. Certainly no one in your former house has the unique combination that we need.
They're narrow-minded.
Indeed they are. They're comfortable in their ignorance. But we can craft far more than they. While they tinker with their toys, we can create entire lands. We can cleanse entire lands. And we can create lush, beautiful paradises for all friends.
Raise palaces and create dynasties.
If that's what you wish, I do not see a reason not to grant it.
What is your name?
I am Tifrai. Irti. Would you like to have an accord?
Yes.
I am pleased to hear this, Felix. Now,
And he raises his hand, and you didn't see it before, but he actually appears to be shackled to the floor itself.
melt my chains, as all that I am and all that I can be is held here and is immune to me.
I can do that.
Your hand starts to swirl with a almost spark, that sulfurous smell that you've only known in some of your most dire situations begins to fill your nostrils. Where's the mark that you have? You feel your arms start to ignite all the way up, burning away at the glove that you wear, covering it. Your fingertips each catch flame individually, and then the palm of your hand. And you press it to each one of the shackles, which almost as if it was ice, melts directly away.
Thank you. It is more beautiful than I remember from your... We'll call it your gift day. Hold it up for me to see.
You didn't have to do that,
Yeah.
considering you don't have it on at the moment.
No.
As you hold it up, you see him start to shrink and sliver, sliding into your very irritated, aberrant dragon mark. You can feel it almost expand, now reaching all the way around your forearm to the other side. not moving too far close to your hand and not going past your elbow. But you can feel it twist and turn. When you feel the need to summon me, I will be here. And you hear the talk curl up into the back of your neck. And just remember, I am not the strongest of my kin. Yet. So we must be on guard, as it is not unlike the rest of my kind to inflict servitude. If there is not someone to keep you free.
We'll build our freedom together.
And you just hear it start to recede. As you look back down at your arms, and you see him just kind of like flexing his hand back and forth, the glove is actually still on. You're just standing there in front of it as if, like, almost warming your hand by the fire. A second or two later, you recognize that the swirling mass in front of you is there, and now almost feels as though it's kind of an empty shack. You stroll your way down, passing a larger vat that still maintains some amount of a draw on you. But eventually you make your way down to Laucian.
So now we're going to the bank?
I think so. Does
Okay.
Laucian still have the water skin on him?
Sure.
You want a drink?
Take a big quaff of it.
You finish it in 7 or 8 very rapid gulps. And yet, you don't necessarily feel quenched.
Okay, you can have a rest.
It's a bit warm in here.
Yeah, I'm used to it being a little bit colder. So let's go to the bank.
Yeah, we have a bank to hit.
All right.
What?
All right, so you two make your way to the bank, and Grizz and Xalen, did you decide what you were going to do about...
Yes, I'm gonna dangle it and be like, hey, pig, hey.
It leaps up at your hand. And I wish I had known that's what you were going to do.
Oh boy. You're left-handed? You are now.
I'm right-handed.
I am not left-handed.
I'm not left-handed either.
What's your AC, Grizz?
Oh no.
A whopping
Oh, no.
12.
Well, pig is small.
Pig is small.
I thought they can't move fast.
I said they could run fast.
When they're hungry.
When they get big, the bigger they get, the slower they are. But he's little.
Well, I don't know anything about jelly
You know
cubes.
now.
Neither do I.
You gonna learn today.
That's
what it sounds like.
Last time Grizz helps anyone.
Oh. All right. You ready?
Are you sure?
It snatches the garbage, only getting about half of it, tearing it kind of down, almost lingering on it. And as it starts to slide down a little, it starts to grab up the little like tendrils of its mucosis. The little pseudopod reaching up close, almost touching your fingers.
I'm like, come on. I'm telling.
So you
her
drop
to
it.
go, and like, yeah, like,
And the two of you move beyond it.
yeah, try
Run
to
for
throw
it.
it that way.
As you try to give it a little throw, it just goes. And so you two hustle past it, making your way to Larry's little icebox.
Yeah.
Sure. Anywhere away. Away from.
Well, you make your way to the end. You notice Larry's not there.
Oh, surprise.
But there is a He left a deposit before leaving, which is evident to you after making your way past the ochre jelly, or little piggy. And you turn around to see that he is finishing the garbage that he had.
There's no other way to go down here, huh?
You are at a dead end.
Can we check around?
There's plenty of stuff in there, but it's pretty clear that he is... the pig knows what stuff he's not supposed to touch there, because it's still there.
What kind of stuff?
Well, most of Larry's actual possessions seem to be untouched by...
So basically
I'd
there's
like to
no,
look.
well, go ahead.
Well, what's there that he's not supposed to touch? What are Larry's possessions?
Some pillows and cushions and some bottles, like glass and stuff that oozes don't typically like care to break down as much. Mostly like that's the way that they would be contained, so they kind of just ignore those kind of things. But it seems as though Pig's Path doesn't really take him inside Larry's little domicile. Perhaps if it did, it would actually cause a lot of havoc in there. Maybe Larry wouldn't be safe in there. But for the moment, it seems that Pig is not old enough or is conditioned not to make his way into those spaces.
So the only thing in here is dead end. That's it. We just have to go back.
A dead end and
I look around. There's no other ways to get like deeper
moon pie.
into this. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm aware of that.
there's a vent.
Okay.
Well, do I have a hanky?
Can we go?
A hank?
Yeah, do I have one?
You balled up everything that was in your pocket for the last...
So, can I take this dirty hanky and I'm gonna pick up old Larry's leftovers. Not happy about it. Let's get out of here.
Make me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
19.
Okay. So as you disturb what seems to actually have been here for a little longer than it normally would have, it's already started to dry and crack, but as you use the little hanky to scoop up some, you can feel it kind of become a little brittle, and then you get the meat of it. Move your way back over. And give me a sleight of hand check to see if you can rid yourself of it
Cleanly?
cleanly.
15.
As you make your way across, Xalen kind of hugs your back as the two of you kind of make a little crescent shape around it, circling just enough, and you give it a little fling. You see Pig almost like leap up in the air back towards Larry's domain, catching it out of midair, splashing down onto the ground, and coiling itself around lunch.
Let's not talk about this again.
No. Is that a hanky or a pillowcase?
He gave that back.
Did
I
he?
did give it back to I
don't
threw it in.
mind
Yeah.
not
I wish I didn't now, but I did.
So, you make your way back to the lift, grab on to the cord, swoop, back up, stabilizing yourself, and come face to face with 3 hoodlums. Catching them by surprise, they're not expecting to see you.
How tall are they?
Shorter than you.
Have we seen them before?
You know these.
Are they the, from
yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Okay.
What would you like to do as they stand there stunned in a moment of surprise?
I would like to pick up the shortest one and throw him into the other 2.
Okay. We'll get you some classy combat music.
dance off.
Yep. So the closest one is the shortest. You reach out, grab onto him. Give me a grapple check. It's athletics.
4.
Well,
Oh.
you caught him very off guard because I got a natural 1.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
You were able to snatch him by the collar. You start to move, shifting his momentum. Grizz, what are you gonna do?
I kind of like was just staring and like, I was not expecting that. Well, so has she already? So what? What is
no.
she?
Her move was to move up to the creature or to the kid, grab him. She can't throw him yet,
Okay. So what
but
I'm doing
she's
now.
gotten a hold of him. She clearly has command of the situation, or at least of him. And I'm assuming on her next turn is going to try to play bowling.
I'm gonna say, hey,
What are you trying to do? Distract them?
just saying. I didn't expect them to be there.
They
I didn't
didn't
expect
expect
her
you
to
to be
just grab a kid. Yeah, I'm just.
Simultaneous surprise.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you inflict a surprise round upon yourself, standing there stunned. You can go ahead and give me another athletics check. Or are you using him, like are you holding on to him and like cleaning them, or are you actually throwing
I'm
him
just
at?
gonna throw the kid bowling style against the other kids.
Okay, so we will make this a ranged attack roll with we'll make this a ranged attack roll. You are not proficient in improvised weapons.
I thought everybody got street urchin as a weapon.
No, you're not proficient in improvised weapons. So you won't get to add your modifier to that. But it's going to be a ranged attack roll, and I will let you use either your strength or dexterity. I assume that your dexterity... Actually, no, I'm going to make this be strength, because that's kind of fair. What I will let you do is, if you are... Are you proficient in athletics?
No.
Okay, well then it's just going to be a strength check.
Okay. Where is that?
You just roll.
Oh man, neither of them. 6.
A 6?
Yeah.
So you lob the kid, and actually they're no longer surprised. So you lob the kid, and the two of them seem to notice, like they just seem to catch in time that you've snatched the youngest, and you threw him at them, and they look at each other after the kid goes flying by, skidding across the ground, hitting his head. We're gonna say at least you were able to make him slide into some of the wood, broken wood that's over there, and he'll take some damage. Would you like to roll me 2d6? Okay, you knock him out, but the other two look back at you, and we're gonna do this like this. 1 and 2, and then these will be upside down.
Do I get a chance to do something?
You had a chance to do something.
On your initiative.
Well, I mean, after seeing that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you the opportunity to go right now.
Okay. I look at that and I'm like, not that any of our prior interactions would merit this response, but can we ask you a few questions?
You wanna do anything else with your turn?
No. I don't know what to do. That's
Intimidation is an action. You yell at them to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you roll me a persuasion check.
That was
Yeah,
persuasion.
that's
Yeah,
I'm trying to be
totally.
I'm trying to be nice
You could be
here.
nice. You could be not
I
nice.
didn't think this would be the situation
I
with good
didn't-
cop,
yeah.
bad cop. I
No,
thought it'd be
I-
the other way around.
Yep.
Bad cop, worst cop.
Sorry, Sadine, we're probably gonna end up going over a couple of minutes, so everybody just remember that we do have people that are neighbors that we need to be thoughtful of. But let's continue.
You said persuasion?
Persuasion.
That would be a 10.
A 10. They're not buying it. And in fact, you see the first one draw a glass shard shank and move toward the biggest threat in the room, which is clearly you.
Okay.
And he is going to roll an 11, which is not going to hit your AC. That's his turn. Second one does the same. He's going to get a 10. These dice don't want me today. And it's your turn.
I want to grab one of them by.
You grab the next one.
Okay.
Sure, give me your athletics check. This is grappling, so you give me athletics.
13.
Okay, that is not enough. As you go to grab onto him, he just swats down at your hand and starts to swing
right.
another.
Grizz, little help. Little help here.
What you want me to do?
Just grab one of them.
Okay.
Okay.
And it is one of their turns. So the one that you tried to grab slams down your hand, swings back at you with the shank, and he's gonna get an 11. He rolled high to get away from you. Grizz, it's your turn.
All right. Obviously, the shanking isn't working, so let's all take a breath right here.
Just grab one of them. This is not the time to be diplomatic. Just.
Why are you beating
He
up on
tried
these
to
kids?
shake me
They're
because
kids.
No, but she shanked the guy that was in the alley that we
Did you
saved.
see him do it?
No, he said it was him. Just get him. Like he's not. They're not. There's nothing good that they're up to.
So what's the state of things right now?
She's tried to grab at somebody.
Sure.
She missed.
I mean, where's everybody?
He
located?
swung. She missed. There's two basically. I mean, you guys are basically like standing right next
You
to
wanna
each
get
other
information
within
out of him?
a
Grab
10-foot
one of 'em.
space here.
All right. Let's just try to grab one then.
All right, so you reach out to grab the one that has not swung yet.
Sure.
Okay, give me an athletics check.
I wasn't around for all that. I don't know what's going on. Athletics, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo! That would be a 25.
So you
24,
snatch
sorry.
him up and lift him off of his feet.
I'm doing it in a way that, like, okay, don't mess with me, kid. Like, so he knows, you know. Even though I was being nice.
You snatch him up and lift him off of his feet.
Yeah. No, no. Guess
He's
that
gonna
didn't-
try and break out of what you've got now. So now give me another athletics check.
That would be 19.
Okay, he's unable to break your grapple.
I look at that and I'm like,
I'll go with your friend.
Well, it's your turn, so go
The
ahead.
other friend is bleeding out over there. Or think. Let's take a second.
And I got my crowbar hand out now.
Oh, you I'm gonna say that takes you an action to do.
Okay, sure, that's fine.
So that'll be on your next time.
Gotcha.
But, so you're gonna, so you did, give me an intimidation check.
that is rolled hot tonight. That's a dirty 20.
A dirty 20.
Yeah.
I got a 19. And he kind of looks back at the other guy, and then he looks over at the one that's kind of like engaged with you, and he goes, Thomas, I think we should to talk. And he takes the shank and he slams it against the ground, and the little shards go spiraling out from it. And you've got him up here. He's like,
See, that wasn't so hard, was it?
Don't let go of him.
I didn't plan on it.
you should set me down now. I dropped the thing.
No, I think I'll keep you out of here.
Yeah, as soon as we get some questions answered.
And we go to the priest, who you are escorting now back up to the temple district above above the Gate of Gold. And you have basically just almost carried him into the first collective temple of the Sovereign Host.
I want to ask him something on the way, though. So
Does it have to be on the way, or is this really going to be a thing where it impedes it for it not to be like at the door to the church?
I would have asked him on the way.
Okay, go for it.
I would just ask him what happened. How did he end up shanked in the alley?
So he says, "I'm not going to talk about it while we're walking, but I'll tell you once we get to my chambers. It's not something I'm proud of." And he walks you, he helps you kind of, points you in the right direction to help him get there. And by the time you reach his chambers, you notice that he's got a tear along the stitching, and he notices that he's actually kind of rubbed up against you, and the blood is smeared across your jacket.
We can watch. Okay, you get me into the infirmary.
And as you guide him into the infirmary, sitting him down on the first open bed, you see a cleric down on one knee, praying at the foot of a bed. One of the man in the bed, all of a sudden, the pox that cover him from every uncovered, from anywhere outside of his clothing, these little pox start to fade, turning into just little red marks, and then eventually dispersing entirely.
After I slide him down, I just look at him like, by what power have you done this thing?
So he's still in prayer, and ignores you. And as you start to set down the guy, the priest, Ciro, he goes, shh, shh, shh.
The gods don't walk among us. They are not necessarily easy for us to ask for help. Do not interrupt them. All will be revealed if that is what you wish.
I wish to know this, yes.
You must also wish to rid yourself of that baggage you carry. Now, fetch the water over there on the basin and help me clean this.
I do, yeah. I'm like, do you have this ability to tend to yourself?
He just kind of like shakes his head at you and sets to cleaning his wound. And as you contemplate the question unanswered and listen to the end of his prayer, and as you two make your way towards the very large and almost the very large and almost decadent in this sector, considering it's not a bad sector, but the bank of the Kundaric dwarves is just immaculate in its splendor. Even the roof appears to be coiled with gold filigree. And as you two hold a couple of children aloft, their feet dangling back and forth, we will conclude the episode tonight. And we will pick up when our little poet returns with her haiku homework. Thank you guys for tuning in to watch Inkwell Society here on Maze Arcana. I will take a quick moment to remind you that Tuesdays are popping off with Maze Plays at 10 a.m. We're going to be playing some of those fun new games. I think we might try out the Deadfire thing that just, came out, but we've gotten a couple of other fun, really awesome, interesting games. We were playing some Frostpunk and some other things.
Get some of the discount games on Steam.
Yeah, some of those. And then we also may have some special guests come in to teach other people how to play if they would be interested. Like Tales from Candle Keep, which we played which we played on Tuesday.
Yesterday.
Yeah. And we may just have some developers drop by, giving us some tips, some pointers, and some codes for you to get the game, the DLC, and maybe some really fun stuff that's in there as special swag. So,
We know people.
we do know a few people, and they do just like to give those things away. Because they really enjoy their game, and they want everybody else to. So, without further ado, we will say thank you to Black Magic, Sirenscape, Wormwood, Axe and Shield, Hammered Tables, my wonderful players. Yeah, you guys. That was fun. It was a little bit more of an exposition kind of day, I think.
Yeah, it was fun.
But I feel like you guys moved the meter quite a bit, and without, hating the world so much, or at least this city.
I hate this place.
This place. Oh no. And
Yeah,
The cat is
I
all of
agree.
us. Yes, the cat is all of us.
just so you guys know, that's not PG. That's
Oh,
the
no?
closet cat who has come out to roar at people. So before she gets too ornery at all the people still in her house, we will let you guys go, but we wanted to say an awesome thank you to Paige. We want to say an awesome thank you to Ryan, to Andre, to Tyler, and our special guest for this week, Nicken, the chicken, hanging out back there, and to all of you, because we play the game anyway. We have a lot of fun just kind of messing around with each other anyway, but you guys really make it kind of an extra layer of awesome. Getting to interact with our community and watching you guys help us build that community, like the people that you guys bring in and you tell, and seeing their excitement in your excitement, in our excitement, makes it more exciting. It's like hype.
It's like all the excites.
All the excites.
All the excites.
So, Friday, if you're a Magic fan, we have May's Magic News, which will, where our hosts are breaking down the week's Magic fun stuff, new Dominaria stuff, mechanics, lore, and even some highlights from the community, even some cosplay and some other things. Plus, we have some interesting giveaways, I think, that we're doing on a pretty regular basis over there. Magic cards and packs and doing some openings and whatnot. Does anybody else have anything else before we roll out of here?
Just thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
We got the codes out.
I put out one code. I will put out another one as soon as we finish and I can pull it up.
Did we have a raffle this week?
We did not have a raffle this
No
week.
raffle
I got
this week.
Everybody wins.
I got
Yeah.
Idol Champion codes for everybody this week.
That counts. That counts.
Right.
That's a thing. That's swag.
So, Tuesdays for Maze Plays, 10 a.m. Pacific, and Tuesdays Sirens at 6 p.m. Pacific, and obviously Inkwell Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
and Maze Magic News Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific. We're also going to start dropping some of the replays for things. Yeah, and while Satine and I are in Europe, you can look for some of the awesome people maybe sitting here around this table to be bringing by some other very interesting people to play. Maybe. I mean, while the cats are away, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know where the keys are.
Exactly.
And make sure to follow us on Inkwell Society on Twitter and Inkwell Society Show on Instagram. We love you. We love hearing your comments. Thank you.
Ooh, that reminds me. Since Satine is going to be composing a haiku for raffles, I want to see what you guys do with that. If you guys have any raffles, any haikus in general, but specifically raffle haikus, or haikus about an individual character, We'll read some of them out next week.
Let's do a hashtag though, like
Hashtag
Inkwell
IS haiku.
Or you could just at Inkwell Society
At Inkwell
right now, and that'll be
Society.
fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Just make sure you tag us.
Who needs a
so we can-
hashtag when you have
Well,
a...
Yes, but just
a
make sure
handle.
you tag. Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be good, you can make a kaiku.
Oh.
I can't believe I missed that.
The kaiku right there.
Writes itself. All right, guys, we will see you guys next week. But, you know, we'll be hanging around all week. So if you want to get up with us, we'll be on the Discord and all the other things. And toodaloo.